we got a corpse.
The rotting man lies on his side with his eyes looking straight through you. The belt is still around his neck. His body is supine and open to intrusion by autopsy. The lieutenant adjusts his glasses and takes a deep breath.
Come on, officer. You know what a field autopsy is. You've done 100 of them.
What you do know is, at 18.9 kilometers, the dormant shield volcano, Corpus Mundi, is the world's highest summit, and the failure of the 38 single, Et puis descend, to crack the top 20 was the death knell of disco. But what a field autopsy is, you have no idea. You must have me confused with the Copperpedia.
Instead of encyclopedia, Copopedia. Copopedia. You picked a bad game, Robbie.
You, sir, you are the Copperpedia.
There truly is a time for everything, even for yellow gardening gloves. However, they are lacking hygienically. I suggest you get in there in limited capacity. I mean when I need you to. Until then, I should handle physical contact, and you should take notes.
Show him the red field autopsy form in your ledger.
That's right.
Tell me something, dead man.
Shoot, Looney Rooney.
Is there anything new? Which was it that killed you? Love or communism?
Huh?
You said love killed you, but when you fell down, you said it was communism.
You're misquoting me, Rooney. I said communism killed me. Love did me in.
You really need to learn the difference, buddy. This is embarrassing.
Enough.
Come back later, Coppo. Amuse yourself with my frank manners and my memento mori features. If possible. Also, see me in your dreams.
Open the ledger.
The dead man stares in silence as you crack open the ledger. The bright red paper is covered in boxes and lists, describing the condition of his skin and organs in 3 parts. Above those, an 11-field info form needs filling out first. It begins with,
That's you.
Write the initials, HDB.
the corpse is indifferent to your scribblings, just lies there. The next box says,
Coroner's case number.
KK57-0803.0815.
Dante, hello, Dante. Spin Eater, hello.
KK equals Kim Kitsuragi. 57 equals Precinct 57, followed by his date 0803 and time of arrival 0815 on the scene. He's indexed the case after himself, not you. That's because he doesn't want to bring up the messy question of your initials.
Write it down. Or shouldn't we file a coroner's case under me? Technically, I arrived at the scene before you.
And what would that make the alphanumeric?
HDB 41 0803. Help me out with the time of day, anyone? 10:15. It's understated.
What do you mean 10:15? It's not 10:15, it's 9:55. 21:55. HDB, no time of arrival.
Good. Let's go with that.
Name,
NA. Next.
date of birth,
NA.
age.
Roughly 50.
Try 40. The damage is so extensive, it's better to err on the young side.
I'm gonna write 42.
He nods.
Race,
Mondial.
Fair to olive-skinned, from the Isola of Mwindi. This is as vague as it gets. You might as well say whitish.
write it down.
The pudgy mess of curdled meat looks neither mondial nor anything other.
Sex.
Fucky!
Male.
Pigs can have sex?
Right, fucky. Right, male. Right, pig's gonna have sex. Yo, man. Transistor, hello. Right, male.
Nor does he look male, with his pregnant belly and indistinguishable face.
Date of death.
We're still going with March 4th. 51.
Right.
What else? 9. Body identified by is non-applicable. 10. Case number is the same as the coroner's case.
HDB 41 0803 listens, motionless, with the cargo belt still around his neck. Only one box remains.
Evidence of treatment.
None. At least not after the initial examination.
Is vampire good? Play it. It ain't great. Gameplay sucks. But the world is nice. Play it. It's a solid game to spend your time on. I enjoyed Vampire. I don't know.
Interfering with the body's position or wounds post-mortem.
Don't overdo it. It's okay to be unsure.
Didn't the footprints look like he was carried over?
They'd have to have incapacitated and carried him over. This man was more than a match for untrained dogwalkers.
Your central nervous system recognizes this gesture. It's the stations of the breath. Ecclesiastic, religious in nature, a holdout from pre-DeLorean burial rites. It takes him 2 seconds to perform. Then,
We should start the post-mortem.
Turn the page.
the corpse cannot feel Kim's hand on his chest. It no longer meaningfully interacts with its surroundings. A thicket of boxes and lists on red copier paper tries to answer why.
External examination summary.
Clothes. The deceased wears armored boots and white briefs. The make of the briefs is Babrodine, I think. Let's see.
See, it's happening.
Babrodine, yes. Inexpensive. Size M. Color white.
The disappointment is palpable. The red-haired thing was expecting something more lurid.
The boots are ceramic. Vitreous enamel. They are fused to his skin from blood flowing downward post-mortem. Removal of the boots is left for processing.
It would be clever of you to omit the boots altogether, sire. If you are to keep them for yourself, as you ought to, you have deserved them more than anyone else.
When am I gonna get them?
Patience. After the autopsy, before the body is taken away, there will be a window of opportunity. After the lieutenant has gone to sleep. I hope this has helped you, my liege.
Omit the boots.
The boot has a serial number. It's E50.100.100. The lines between the plates are in the shape of the alphanumerical. The number is purposefully concealed by the design. Tattoos. The upper torso is covered in a single, continuous tattoo, resembling a national pattern. It reaches from the right shoulder to the heart. The ink is blue and white. The assistant has a color photograph of the markings, to be added to the case files as document A1. The photo is taken on the scene, using a Trigger Mini. The deceased has a belt for airlifting cargo around his neck, tied with a hangman's knot. Color, yellow. Length, 3 meters. There is a buckle on the other end. Well-nourished, athletically built, measuring 1.8 meters. Generally consistent with age 42. Preservation is good. Ambient temperature, below freezing. Body hair is light brown. Distribution is consistent with the age. The deceased had male pattern baldness. Hair is combed back, short.
Touch the corpse hair before moving on.
The hair under your latex fingers feels cold to touch.
Stroke
Wet.
his hair. Stroke his hair gently. What on fucking earth?
The stench is suffocating. Strands of dark brown hair start sticking to the latex of the glove, like thread off a rag doll's head. There must be brilliantine in there. He's combed his hair back with oil. More hair sticks to the glove. Hair off the rain-soaked head of a dead man. There are bumps and dips on the skull below. An alien landscape. For a fraction of a second you feel something. An irregularity. But then it's gone. Too minute to register in your mind.
Was that a bump?
What was what? Brilliantine. There's brilliantine in his hair.
Write it down, adding brilliantine.
Lividity is consistent with hanging. The head is congested. Contusions are present on the head, chest, and thighs. Consistent with stones thrown post-mortem. Low velocity.
Fucking low velocity? You think Kuno doesn't know what you're talking about? Velocity was fucking max. Talking shit about Kuno's velocity.
In addition, there are bite marks on the face, scalp, and chest. Consistent with predation.
Write down.
Ligature mark. The steel wiring. There's too much of it. We need to remove the belt so we can get to the ligature mark.
You got just the right tool for that. The chain cutters.
Bet the chain cutters.
The hanged man lets out a joyous little bubble of rot from his nose.
Always good to think ahead. Now, we need to cut the belt to see the ligature mark below. Carefully, with as much precision as you can.
See, my pig is gonna fuck his head off.
No, he ain't. Your pig's a boring fuck.
Look for a good spot to cut.
The belt is equally tight around the whole circumference of his neck, swelling over the edges like white bread rising from the east. The knot is the weak spot. The chain cutters fit in there, steady now, like a flower arranger. 2 cuts and it should come loose.
90% chance.
After some deliberation, you sink the cutters into the knot tying the belt together. You squeeze the rubber handles together, sweat forming on your brow. Snap. The knot is slashed. Another cut and the belt falls apart like a flower bouquet, revealing the dead man's neck and the dark red ligature mark.
The rope rises to a point, leaving a gap in the ligature mark. The suspension point is in the back of the neck.
As it ought to. This is where its grip on the curdled meat is gentlest, pulling up.
Hemorrhaging is observed on the skin, above and below the ligature mark. The mark is well pronounced, consistent with a drop from 1 or 1.5 meters. Chest is intact, normal contour. Abdomen is protuberant, pelvis intact, genitalia
Now, let's get out and see.
Yo. Can it be 9.5 out of 10? Yes, if we speak about isometric point and click adventures. On a total scale, I'll still need to finish it, but I would give it 9 among adventures.
I fucking knew it!
Genitalia is male and unremarkable. No evidence of injury.
Inspect the genitals.
The dead man's penis is average-sized, congested from the downward collection of blood. The testicles are uneven in length, hanging underneath. The genitalia is greenish. Marbling is present around the crotch.
What happens when you die, man? Complete description. What's gonna happen to all of us? Oh shit.
Back is symmetrical and intact.
After a week.
Upper and
only.
lower extremities are
Imagine
intact,
later.
but asymmetrical. There are combat injuries on the right hand, thigh, and hip. In addition, I see smaller, residual scars, too numerous to count, covering about 30% of his skin.
From wounds sustained over 2, maybe more decades, dispersal and accumulation indicates long and active combat duty.
We have a real museum here. Of battles, wars. Last item, hands.
Pick up the hand.
The hand feels heavy, filled with decay liquids, like it's ready to explode if squeezed hard enough. You're suddenly repulsed, so much so you feel compelled to drop it.
Hands are clean. No sign of injury from struggling.
Were we expecting any?
I was. Maybe I'm just not seeing them. Honestly, this stench is making it hard for me to think at the moment. Ooh. That's all for the external. Well done. What next?
Internal.
Central nervous system. I have nothing. Do you have anything on this man's central nervous system?
Of course, there is a moral to be drawn from it, a moral to this story.
What would that be?
The dead man looks, too, with barely contained excitement to hear the moral of his story.
I think that may well be the moral of every story, officer. Good. Musculoskeletal. Purge fluid is coming from the mouth. Not injury related. Eyes and tongue protuberant. Hyoid bone. Let's see.
With his eyes almost closed, the lieutenant puts his hand on the dead man's throat and begins to massage it, gently. A rotting smell erupts from the mouth. Purge fluid runs down his lips, black and viscous. You hear cracks as the lieutenant moves his sharp fingers inside the flesh, like the creaking of an old house at night.
Yeah, jack that fucker off!
The hyoid bone is fractured. The rest of the musculoskeletal system is intact. Unremarkable. Respiratory system. Oral cavity shows no lesions. The victim has received dental implants, possibly after a combat wound. Mouth swollen. Hemorrhaging present in mucosa of the lips and mouth.
Look inside the dead man's mouth.
No scream, no sigh of relief rises from the darkness inside. It's humid there. Sickly sweet air, unlike anything living. You feel like you're about to throw up again, straight in that mouth of his.
Jesus Christ. Look deeper inside.
It's hard. Once more, you taste stomach acid in the back of your throat. A contraction. Your throat pumps a little something from your stomach and into your mouth. You're forced to swallow, just to keep looking. Inside, you see darkness. Just a mess of meat and darkness.
Hemorrhaging present in mucus.
Write it down.
Hepatobiliary. NA. Are you a hepatobiliary expert? Neither am I. That's it. Same for toxicology and serology. NA. Unless you have untapped reservoirs of knowledge there?
Reservoirs? No, but do they take obscure trivia and odd tidbits?
The competitionist in me wonders if there's something we could still do.
Like a toxicology screening? At this stage, I doubt processing will find anything, even if he was brimming with cocaine. But still, you should add a request.
Right.
Cardiovascular. The body exhibits heavy lividity. Blood has gathered in the hands, feet, and neck. Hypostasis is visually consistent with the hanging. Gastrointestinal.
This will do.
Digested semi-solid food in stomach. Voila.
Write it down on meet the voila.
What's next on the list?
Description of injuries summary.
Let's see. We have bite marks, contusions on the head and chest, and a ligature mark encircling the neck. You'll need 3 fields. Leave a 4th one too.
Be thorough if you want maximum results.
Bite marks.
Head, chest, and scalp bite mark injuries. Predation by birds has caused damage to the body. Odontologist does not need to be consulted. And your opinion, officer? Agreed. Next injury? So, the scalp bleeds from a post-mortem head injury, a stone. The injury does not have the rim of an early inflammatory response. The perpetrator on the scene has confessed to causing it post-mortem.
At maximum velocity, fucko!
Has confessed to causing it at maximum velocity.
Coagulated blood sticks to his scalp and chest, where the countless stones have hit the dead man. Beneath, the description of injury. 2 boxes.
Not fatal.
Right. Next.
What's the 4th injury field for?
Nothing. Just in case.
Okay. Finish the autopsy.
A dark red abraded ligature mark encircling the neck, with a gap on the nape measuring, let's say, 7 centimeters. The hyoid bone is fractured, the cervical column intact. I see hemorrhaging on the skin, above and below the ligature mark. Depth of the mark, 1 centimeter. No signs of clawing on the neck.
Below the note, 2 customary boxes wait to be ticked. The man's head jerks to the side. The ring around his neck is visible. Think for a moment. There's time. Don't rush.
Not fatal.
Why do you say that?
I'm serious, I don't think this was the injury that killed him.
Okay. Why don't you think it was fatal?
Why weren't his hands tied? A big man like this would tie his hands when marching him to the gallows.
Honestly, I'm not sure there weren't marks on his wrist. That part got blurry for me. The stench. But you are right, I was ready to call this. Now I think we should leave it empty, at least for the time being. Let's wrap this up. I pronounce this field autopsy over. It was an irregular field autopsy. We did not establish cause of death, which is supposed to be the goal of an autopsy. But, personally, I do not see this as a parameter for success. We also requested a toxicological screening. That was thorough. The results should arrive in a couple of weeks, if we are lucky. I will not hold my breath. We were thorough with the list of injuries too. We described them all in detail. What is there to say? Given the circumstances, it was a professional field autopsy. I need a copy of that autopsy form. Then I will drive him to Faubourg.
I bought a copy.
For processing.
You tilt your head, also looking at the corpse. I'm sure we didn't get everything. There's always something.
Search the body one more time. That's perception. Try to remove boots. Let's beg him. Leave.
The lieutenant adjusts his glasses and takes.
I'll try to succeed in perception without investing points into it. It's a good thing I can save though.
The lieutenant adjusts his glasses and takes a deep. Your arms reach out and your eyes close, as if by their own volition. It's dark all around. You feel cold, slippery flesh. First with your fingertips, it's right under the palm of your hand.
That started well.
His face, his cheeks, his nose, his fat, swollen lips. Like a rubber spider, your gloved hand crawls on his features. Everything is silent, all around.
Roll up his nostrils.
They are swollen shut. You need to really push to get in.
Push the fingers in his nose.
Only the little one fits. The flesh changes shape as you bore in, searching for something in the cartilage.
The fuck is he doing?
The thing you're looking for, it's not there. Crawl out, spider.
Put the fingers in his mouth.
The oral cavity is cold and moist. A ball-like tongue attaches itself to the base of the mouth, lolling around like a scallop.
Play with it. Feels right.
The tongue moves freely in the cavity. The mucus of the mouth is slippery, fragile, even through the latex. From the soft meat, teeth are budding. Hard pearls of bone in the gums and in the back of the mouth. Can you feel it? You're so close. Rip his jaws open now. Look in.
Open and look.
A vision of black and dark red death, pried open by your hands and studded with teeth. Looks like he's laughing. Death fumes rising from his throat. And there, in the back of his mouth, above the bell of the uvula, right in the soft palate, you see a hole, barely visible to the human eye. It is swollen shut, almost vanished. No larger than 0.4 centimeters in radius, the edges appear darkened.
It was shut.
An abrasion collar. This is what we're after.
Abrasion collar.
Kuno is silent.
Touch it with your finger.
A black trickle of liquid runs into his throat from the wound.
Put your finger in.
Your index fits right in there. A tight tunnel of flesh opens up. Tissue damage. Wide enough for 2 fingers. As you push both in, you reach through his mouth, right into his brainstem.
The fuck is happening?
Ah, shit, see?
Yes, that's what this part is called. You've seen the drawings. You've studied them.
Feel around first.
The basal ganglia feels clumpy. What entered here has torn apart his reptilian complex. This man will never sleep again. Never wake.
Push deeper.
Your yellow fingers slide into the remains of the limbic system. There is no resistance. It's gelatinous. The slug-like structures are damaged too. The tearing extends deep into both hemispheres. The lieutenant answers with the sound of his pen on paper.
Fucking cavity, see?
Your fingers are all the way in now, reaching toward the inside of his skull. The cavity goes further, but the entry wound isn't wide enough for the rest of your hand to follow. All the muscles in your body harden. Time to enter him.
Rigalin.
Your fingers reach toward his skull. His cerebral cortex feels like jelly. Cold jelly. Strange fluid streams down your wrist as you push deeper until you feel it on the tip of your finger. Ice cold serrated metal. Its edges cut right through the latex and into your finger.
That's a bullet. Inspect the skull first.
There's a tiny crack, a protrusion in the cranium, right in the back of his head. Your finger must be pointing straight at it, from the inside. The object that is in there stops just short of the skull, in the encephalus, knocking this tiny fracture into the cranium. This is the irregularity you felt before, the one that was too tiny to register consciously.
We have the makings of a very small exit wound here.
Forget about the fucking exit wound, Beano. The pig is wearing him like a fuck puppet.
Feel the solid object.
Can you get to it?
Interface is 92%. I hope it works. Nice. 3 checks, 3 successes without reloads.
You pick the object between your index and middle finger. It feels sharp, like metal. With your face twisting from pain and concentration, all you need to do is just...
Slowly pull your fingers out.
The inside of the head feels cold and smooth, like a glove. Sweat dripping down your brow. Careful not to lose the prize between your fingers. With a plop, your hand emerges from the mouth. The garden glove is covered in blood right up to the wrist. Between your fingers, a small flower, a blossom made of lead.
Fucking beautiful.
A bullet.
Drop it in.
The bullet falls in the bag, leaving a smattering of blood on the plastic. He raises the bag under his eyes and says,
A non-calibre. Rifled. Some kind of brittle alloy. Fractured on impact.
Can I have it?
Of course. You deserve it.
The first achievement.
We need to add an item to the injury list. Injury number 4. Oval entry wound with an abrasion color. Soft palate, back of mouth. High velocity. Temporary cavity in brain tissue. Small exit wound on the occiput. How does that sound?
Sounds about right. Sounds like heaven.
Opinion, fatal injury.
I'm still not sure. Look at your hand. Quizzically.
We have extensive tissue destruction away from the wound track. We have a bullet. And one last thing. We can now fill in injury number 3. Ligament mark. Opinion non-fatal. Post-mortem.
You don't say, genius. I told you it's not fatal.
he's proposing the bullet was the real cause of death, and the hanging an attempt to conceal this fact.
Yes, and the belt around his neck, the hanging, even dragging him to the yard. All of it was done after this man was already dead.
Agree.
I have had my doubts since you showed me the tracks. Why did they carry him over? Why not march him, I thought. There was no satisfying explanation. There have been other signs too. Small things.
Find the
We were
bullet
right
before
not
you
to
get
assign
fooled.
hanging as cause of
Secret
death,
task complete.
as the perpetrators expected we would. No such luck for them.
There is, of course, the very real possibility he was both shot and hanged.
Nah. I had to take a piss. Be right back very fast.
Of treatment to me.
Proceed.
We put him in a bag and carry him to the holding pen of my kinema. The body bag should contain the odor for the duration of the transport. I would drive him to processing, but it's too late to do that today. I'll do it first thing tomorrow. No problem. One more thing. This was really good work, detective.
Tell me something, dead man. Let's see if we can ask him anything else.
Rooney.
Nothing else.
Come back later.
Let's drag him to the
Coppo.
kinema.
All right.
There go those beautiful enamel boots. May they rest in processing.
Ah, shit.
Oh well, in another lifetime.
I will need a little help carrying him. You take the hands, I'll take the legs.
I want the boots first. That means I don't trigger that shit now. That's what it means.
The lieutenant adjusts his glasses and takes a deep breath.
Oh, I fucked it up big time, yeah. 28 freaking percent.
You run your
Now,
hand-
yeah, now you're gonna fuck me for the next 5 minutes. Great. That's fucking great.
The man is... The lieutenant adjusts his glasses and takes a deep breath. You run your hands over the victim's cold body.
And I got it on the first attempt. Look at this shit now. Only because of the boots.
The man is The lieutenant adjusts his glasses and takes a deep breath.
Fuck.
You run... The man is... The lieutenant adjusts his glasses and takes a deep breath.
Work your shit.
You run your hand...
Fuck does Kuno care? Kuno doesn't fucking...
The man is decomposing visibly now.
Can't believe I fucking
The
did that.
lieutenant adjusts his glasses.
Everything
and
was
takes
perfect.
A deep breath. You run your
And I had to
hands over
fuck
the-
it up. To be honest, I played everything there is, so...
The man is decom... The lieutenant adjusts his glasses and takes a deep breath. Your arms reach out and your
we
eyes
go.
close. His face, his cheeks, they are swollen. Only the thing you're looking for. The oral cavity is cold. The tongue, can you feel? An abrasion collar. This
Abrasion.
Kuno, a black, your index.
Ah, shit, see?
The base, this man will, your yellow finger slide into the lieutenant.
Fucking...
Your finger, all the muscles in your body. Your finger, ice cold serrated metal. Its edges cut right through the latex and
Can you...
there's the object. This is the irregularity you
We have the makings of...
Forget about the fucking exit wound, Beano.
So far, so good. Just to repeat the entire sequence again. I want those boots.
You pick the object between your index, with
a bullet.
the bullet.
A non-calibre. Rifle. Some kind of brittle alloy. Of course, we need to add an item to the high velocity. Opinion, fatally, and...
He's proposing the...
Yes, and the belt around... I have had my... There have been others.
There is, of course, the very real possibility.
To put him out of his misery? That's for us to hide something. Oh, you really do. I am glad to hear you say that. Yes.
This little thing could reveal much about the weapon that...
We put him in a bag. I would drive him. One more thing. This was really good work, detective.
Now, nice and easy.
The lieutenant adjusts his glasses and takes a deep breath.
I thought we decided to leave it to processing.
Damn it. This is turning into some... Okay, so you can sneak out of your room maybe, after he's gone to sleep.
Let's see what he wants.
We should think about calling it a day, maybe. The nights are still miserably cold this time of year.
True, go. I haven't paid the cafeteria manager for the damages yet.
You should take care of that, then.
I don't have money.
Let's talk to him anyway. An officer of the RCM shouldn't be sleeping in the streets. We'll figure something out.
Let's. It's not my first time with Disco. I played it for like, I don't know, 15 hours or so. Maybe even less. when there wasn't full voice cover. And then I quit. One of the very few games that I actually quit because I wanted to play it with a voice cover. And now it's fucking brilliant. Let me see what's this. This is new now during nights.
A lorry stuck in the traffic jam. This big, heavy Grad-made machine is well kept for such an old machine.
Before I do it, what was the last save? As you can see, I have saves from 2019. It was a long time ago. I bloody forgot everything and it wasn't voice covered. So I got all saves from 2019. The save is bad. What I want is this too now. Unlock. We get a slow. +2 empathy towards Kim Kitsuragi. Internalize. The 15th in the tribe. 5 hours, 55 minutes, internalize. There are so fucking many thoughts. Physical instruments, shivers. I can interact with a photo. First that. Oh, I don't know what to do first. There are so many things to do. Interact.
An intricate web of blue lines stretches across the torso of the hanged man, from the right shoulder to the solar plexus. Each time the lines intersect, a small white star is formed in their crossing. Hundreds of fading asterisks riddle his skin. Their concentration is highest around his heart. The pattern still kind of has an ethnic feel to it, but nothing familiar.
Who are you?
Gone.
What's the meaning of this tattoo?
For you to discover. You've gotten as far as you will without assistance. Someone who knows about history could tell you.
Put the photo away. See the bullet. Fractured bullet.
The bullet is safely sealed away in a plastic bag bearing the RCN stamp.
Dante, enjoy, Dante,
Kim
good
has
night,
filled out the
Dante.
label on the bag with the item number, case number, and date and location the bullet was found.
What do I do with you, bullet?
What?
I said, what do I do with you, bullet?
Well, if I was the bullet, which I'm not, I would say find the weapon that shot me.
Good idea.
If we find who owns it, we will have likely found who used it, possibly to kill our victim. In conclusion, the more we know about this bullet of yours, the better.
Feel the bullet through the bag.
The squashed bullet has some sharp edges where the jacket has split open. It feels cold, even through the bag.
I think he's there, Transistor. He just went to the couch.
You wouldn't ordinarily have cause to handle jacketed bullets. The citizens' militia uses cast bullets only. Little pebbles of metal loaded from the muzzle, usually in a cartridge.
Inspect the bullet closer.
The jacket of the bullet is made of a yellowish metal. It has blossomed out to reveal a dark grey core. The base of the bullet is close to 5 millimeters in diameter.
Look at the jacket.
You can just about make out a few striations near the base of the bullet. Little hairlines, linear. It feels standard.
And the core.
It's quite destroyed. Some of the fragments are still lodged in the wound.
What can you say about the bullet so far?
Jacketed bullet, 5 millimeters.
A jacketed bullet. Okay. It would have been shot from a military-grade breech-loading rifle, not from a muzzleloader like those typically found on the streets of Martinez.
Highly unusual. The people of Revachol haven't carried breech-loading weapons like this for nearly half a century.
Even the RCM uses ordinary unjacketed conical bullets. This is strange. Very strange. I like this, officer. Strange means unique. Unique means incriminating. We need to find the gun that shot it.
What I need is hand-eye coordination. And of course I don't have it.
The bullet is still safely sit. A rifle, revolutionary period. Your bullet
Everything
looks to
worse
be
on the
old
first attempt for me today.
4.46 millimeter from the surplus left over from the turn of the century. Probably an antique or a retrofitted antique. The 4.46 caliber was widely used with the Belmargrave rifle, a Revacholian manufacturer. The BM dominated the battlefields of the Insulindian theater of the anti-centennial revolution 50 years ago. No, but Zeliger, a major firearm manufacturer, ended up with a surplus after the war, so there are still a lot of these old military rifles floating around, usually broken. The quality was appalling. Antiques enthusiasts, guerrilla fighters in distant countries, a few lucky jamrock bangers. You're looking for a well-preserved antique, most likely.
What are you thinking? Bullet?
I know where this came from.
Okay. And? An antique. That makes sense. There can't be many breech-loading rifles floating around in Martinez, or anywhere in Revachol, really. Sure, there's some arms trafficking, but the laws prohibiting the use of breech loaders we inherited from the monarchy have been effective, from what I've seen. Some new RCM recruits get impatient with their muzzle loaders once they've trained with military-grade weapons, but they realize it's worth it in the end.
Prohibiting peacetime law enforcement to front-loaded rifles is a policy enforced by the Moralist International in all the nations of the Real Belt.
Imagine if everyone, cops, citizens, had access to firearms that could shoot multiple rounds without pausing to reload. After the first shot, the second, third, and so on come much easier. But back to the investigation.
Something mysterious is afoot.
Mysterious? Okay. Either way, we'll know when we find the gun.
It's the best answer. Bullet's got nothing more to say. Now what's this?
A lorry stuck in the traffic jam. This big, heavy Grad-made machine is well kept for such an old machine.
Look in the window.
The windows are clear. They've been recently washed. You can see a lorryman's cabin with personal belongings, stickers, insignia.
What kind of stickers and insignia?
The driver has adorned his space with a substantial collection of peculiar paraphernalia. Proclamations about honor, strength, and purity are glued to various panels. A large metal pendant hangs from the rear view mirror. The pendant features a sun crowned with wavy rays. It is the seal of Royalist-era Revachol.
What about the back seat?
The back end of the cabin has a small perch to sleep, large ashtrays. There are several suns and wheels sewn into the curtains. A book with ragged edges catches your notice. The front cover features a large, muscular man. The title reads, Man from Eamdal in the Lost City of the Pygmies.
Racist nationalist paraphernalia. Not unusual in this part of town. This is our guy.
I think the lorry belongs to our guy.
Likely, yes. This guy's proud of who he is. Drapes it all over his machine.
There he is, in front of Rita, smoking nervously, hoping it's over.
Leave. I'll need to catch him up tomorrow. Not today. We need to sleep. And that's gonna be a freaking mess. Anything else with the grandma here?
The woman is still hunched.
Huh? What is it? What do you want?
Nothing. Keep sleeping. One more turn around, we go to the bar. I need to steal those boots, I can't forget about it. He also moved. He moved. You can repair this.
A couple of indicator lights are missing from this control panel. Loose wires dangle from the now vacant holes. In the middle is a lever. Beneath it, a small metal plaque. This panel usually closes the waterlock, turning it into a bridge that lets you cross the canal. But there's a crashed salmon and butter sign in the way. Pulling the lever probably won't do anything.
I get it, fine. Think we go to the bar now. Yeah, we go to the bar. I still got this thing to visit. But I believe it's good enough for one full day. There's really nothing else.
Hello again, officer. How are
So
things?
late and you're still here.
I'm a Nighthawk. What can I say?
She's still here because you're still here.
You don't have to stay here because of us.
I like the city at night, don't you?
The body's down.
Down? Do you mean the body is finally gone?
Absolutely gone.
It's gone from the tree.
Oh, right. But no. Can you tell me when you've taken him away then?
Yeah. Let us see what we can do. Grandma is not here now. No, there's only a bartender.
Can I help you? Another thing. Great. Yes.
About the money I owe.
Yes. Have you got it?
Some sort of arrangement for tonight.
Does that arrangement include you paying me what we already agreed you owe me?
Kim is about to say something. Let him. Let him.
I understand your predicament as the manager. However, I feel I must remind you that we are here to conduct an important investigation that also affects your business.
Forgive me for saying this, but your colleague seems more committed to drinking, and I mean no offense. It's really nothing personal. I just have to protect the interests of this establishment.
This conversation isn't going anywhere, is it?
Not until you bring me the money.
Okay, I might have something in my motor carriage we can use when you're done here.
Oh, Lieutenant, we're done here.
Can we do it some other way then? Kim didn't help.
Can I help you? Yes. Have you? Does that arrangement include you paying me what we already agreed?
Come on,
you
man.
owe me? What about what I have been through, huh? You're not the goddamn protagonist of this story. I am. This is my hostel cafeteria, and I need my money.
Literary demotion. That's the worst.
I still have my key, you know.
Good luck trying to use it.
Draconian measures.
All the locks have an electronic component. They have to be unlocked down here with a master key before your guest key will open the lock.
I'll break the door down.
Oh, wonderful. Try to do that. I'll have to call you an ambulance. Not until you bring me...
Okay, I might have some.
Oh, Lieutenant, we're done here. Do I have a...
It's not a shame.
Am I where... Am I...
Because he's not a bartender.
Because I'm not...
Play it calm. This man needs to understand you need a drink to help the community deal with police.
Even more reason...
No matter what I do, it's gonna end up the same for sure. Kim will borrow us the money. 60 freaking real for it.
Can I help you? Yes. Have you got it? Does that arrangement include you paying me what we already agreed you owe me?
I feel I must remind you that...
Forgive me for... I mean no offense. It's really nothing personal. Not until...
Okay,
Oh, Lieutenant.
To the car.
Hello, hello. Let me know if I can help you with
Do you
anything.
happen to have any guns?
Someone else came here earlier today asking the same question. I promptly sold her the gun you pawned a couple days back.
You sold my gun.
This is a pawn shop, and it did feel as if you've met before. Oh God. The lieutenant shifts from one foot to another, alert.
And the corpse, he got killed by our gun. What a freaking mess. I sold you my gun.
You were adamant about getting rid of it, officer. Said you were undeserving of a service weapon of the Revachol Citizens Militia. And I don't like keeping guns around the shop for long. Off the charts photon emissions. The unhealthy kind.
It's the fire policeman too.
She didn't seem like a policeman. Although she kept referring to herself as a pig. Which was odd. I found her interest in the gun a bit obsessive, but I was just happy to get rid of it, and of her. Truth be told, she was terrifying.
Right, so let me get this right. You sold your sidearm issued by the Citizens Militia, and now a civilian is running around the streets of Martinez with it?
Maybe she's a vigilante. I don't like it either.
You're right that she could cast aspersions on the Force. We have to find her.
Any idea where I can find this buyer?
My apologies, officer, but I have no idea where she was coming from or where she went.
A needle in a haystack. There is nothing you can do about it now. You'll just have to hope you luck upon her somehow.
At least now I know how I lost my sidearm.
Of course.
What with a missing gun again?
Sure thing. Sure, man.
I want something to sell.
Yes, we'd like to sell these hubcaps.
Roy takes the hubcaps from the lieutenant and inspects them. The spinners appear iridescent in the dancing light of his pawn shop.
Yes, these are very, very good. Did you defraud some foreign prince for them? Jump-a-mesque banger? No matter. I'll give you 200 real.
No one was defrauded or jumped, I assure you.
Of course, I meant no offense. 200 real for you, officer. Delightful doing business with you. Do come again.
Thank you. Here's the 60 real you need for your bill.
Bitch.
Do not waste it.
Gave me 60.
The rest is for him, to compensate for the pain of being separated from his radiant spinners.
Anything else you're thinking of selling?
I have a fascinating photo of a corpse here. Show him the photo.
Oh, no. I don't like those kinds of objects. No sale.
Do you know what the tattoos mean?
Aphotic paths, counter-radiance networks, anti-magnetism. It's darkness. That's all I know. Sell me something lighter.
You have absolutely no idea what aphotic paths are, but the tattoos on the man are not that.
Another time, perhaps.
Oh, got 112 real now. We close the day like this. Well, although we don't close the day, we need boots. Not done yet.
can I help
About
you?
the money I owe.
Yes, have
Have
you
your
got
money?
it? Well,
Slam the bills down on the counter. I hope you choke on it.
great, perfect. I hope you enjoy your freezing cold room with the window you broke yourself. I'll unlock the electronic lock to your room. All the doors lock automatically at 9 p.m. Starting tomorrow, please pay for each night in advance. 20 real per night. If you don't have the money, it's over for you. Got it? You've got nowhere else to stay.
I'll take a room here too.
Always happy to have officers from the RCM as guests. Anything else I can do for you?
Goodbye. Need to get rid of the Kim. What happens with this door?
The door is closed.
Yes?
Inland Empire. Convince Kim there's a sexy dark mystery twist in the case. Inland Empire. %.
Yes?
What if you did it?
Everything on the first attempt since I started.
Yes, you killed him. And then, as part of the plan, you drowned out the memory. Forgetting was merely a matter of convenience. Very clever. Maybe this is why your chest feels so hollow. You did an awful thing, and you can't even bring yourself to acknowledge it. Are you sure you would have the strength to take down a hardened mercenary? You're not in the best shape.
Keep it to yourself. This is your burden to bear now. Lieutenant, I have a confession to make. I am the murderer. Let's do it.
And what has led you to this conclusion?
My chest feels hollow.
That is a common side effect of overindulgence. It will pass. Besides, I doubt you could have taken down a hardened mercenary single-handedly.
See? You're clearly not a man in your prime anymore.
Don't take it personally. It's just that security guards kept on by large corporations tend to be better trained and better armed than officers of the RCM. I find that highly unlikely. It's not unusual for detectives to feel complicit in a crime until the perpetrator is apprehended, especially when the investigation is dragging. So let's get back to it, shall we?
I want to talk about you. Think you should know that I can't remember anything.
No response. He's having trouble processing it, believing it even.
Repeat it again.
Have you tried concentrating on something other than your personal affairs?
There is a sudden, harsh edge to his voice, like he's tired of hearing about your personal affairs.
Completely lacking in basic information about even this organization we're in. Can you help me?
Fine. We should get through this day first. Off hours begin at 9 p.m. If you're still having trouble then, I can give you an orientation. Try work, the case at hand. It can work miracles. Not a fan. It's just the nature of lieutenancy.
The RCM deploys a self-styled structure called the Decomptage as its chain of command. Every lieutenant is responsible for 2 sergeants and 8 officers. That means the average lieutenant has to deal with quite a few personal affairs. Even you know this.
I'm afraid this is a medical situation.
Really? You look fine to me.
Talking serious, unbelievable damage.
This psychodrama is unbecoming of an officer.
Clearly, he prefers to think you're malingering. He cannot fathom that anyone could drink so much as to retroactively erase their entire life.
It's the brain damage.
Then you should consider seeking medical attention. You can use the radio in my kinema to call your station's Lazareth. Was there anything else you wanted?
Talk about you.
Me? I don't see how my life is pertinent to the investigation.
Feel our lieutenant open up a little.
If you insist. What do you want to know?
You're wearing glasses.
That's correct.
That makes him a Beano-clad, completely uncopped material, if you say so yourself.
I'm not gonna call him a Beano. Glasses are cool.
Are they? They are mostly just cumbersome.
You don't like other people around here.
That's because I'm half Seolite, or quarter. My father's father was from Seoul. So was my grandmother, but from my mother's side. It's not an interesting topic.
What is Seoul?
It's a part of the world, officer. A geopolitical entity and a geographic division. I told you it wouldn't be interesting.
Seoul is a protectionist, isolationist, pan-Isolari state west of the Insulindian Isola. Actually, it's quite interesting. Some would even say mysterious.
You're only making it sound uninteresting.
You're barking up the wrong tree. I don't speak a word of Seolite. I've never met either one of my grandparents, and I've never been to Seoul. I'm a regular Revacholière.
A point of pride to him.
Tell me a secret.
No.
Ask again.
Your brain sends the signal to your lips, but they refuse the order. Something is paralyzing them. You're pretty sure it has something to do with the lieutenant's eyebrow. It's like you're locked down.
What's happening to me?
Something the matter, detective?
What's going on? It's like you're a puppet in his hands.
You up?
The lieutenant relaxes his eyebrow, and you seem to regain control of yourself.
You have a talk with yourself.
What do you mean?
You know what you're thinking.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Doesn't talk with his brain.
The lieutenant's conceptualization skills must be rather rudimentary.
So you're saying your brain never just chimes in with advice or warnings or anything?
I can't say that it does, no. When I need to think, I just use my notebook.
The lieutenant produces his small blue notebook and idly thumbs through a few pages. We all have our different mediums. His is written.
That's all.
Good. Let's change the
You
subject.
seem to be following me.
Excuse me?
What if I want to work this case alone? Nothing, just an observation.
You have a distinctive way of walking. If I were to walk in front of you, we would surely collide.
What do you mean, this thing?
I hope you don't take this the wrong way. It's just a collegial observation. In the 57th, we call it the Jamrock Shuffle. Officers from Jamrock's 41st Precinct tend to move a bit erratically.
How's that?
They say it's a scene-clearing technique developed by one of your lieutenants for gathering evidence. It's erratic, yet thorough. Prioritizes containers.
Yes, but containers contain things, shiny things. They're interesting.
Why containers?
I don't know. Containers contain, I guess. I'm making assumptions. We should move on.
Leave. When I click on the door, he'll stop following, yeah?
This is the door to the room you redecorated.
Good night, Lieutenant.
Just a moment. You had some questions earlier, I believe. And besides, we should discuss our progress on the investigation. Let's go out to the balcony.
Okay.
The air outside is brisk. The lieutenant is silent for a moment. He listens to the traffic hum. Then,
Where shall we begin? We should talk about the investigation, first and foremost. But I also remember you wanting to discuss the RCM?
Didn't know you smoked, Kim.
I have a cigarette every night when I go over my notes. It's something of a ritual.
oh man, he looks so devastatingly cool with that cigarette.
Give me a cigarette.
I apologize, but I only brought one with me. I have exactly one cigarette every night while going over my notes. You mean this? This isn't cool. It's an unnecessary trial of will and unhealthy.
Keeping the habit within the parameters he's given himself takes a lot of focus. It would be easier to simply quit. Yet, were he to quit, he would lose the cool factor. This man relishes his cool quite a bit below it all.
Yes, it's been a long and eventful day.
How do you think today went? Or the RCM? Let's see the RCM first. What are our powers exactly?
They're quite limited, actually. The power officers of the Revachol Citizens Militia exercise most frequently is imposing fines of up to 1,000 real for offenses, in accordance with an interdepartmental schedule.
Why not more?
The RCM's primary role is to ensure safety. We are not really supposed to play any part in the economic structure of Revachol. Yes, although indirectly, as citizens can always request records from their local station. Officers of the RCM have been known to take bribes of less than the prescribed fine amount. It undermines trust in the RCM.
What else?
We can arrest people, of course, but rather than bringing someone in directly, it's preferable to serve a station closely. It prevents confusion and overcrowding. You can't. Those who don't show up become fugitives, though, and have fewer legal rights when they are eventually caught. It's about power projection. Thus far, they seem to mostly show up.
Someone resists.
As you may have gathered from the fact that we are expected to carry a record of our kills, like the one in your watermarks, we are permitted to use whatever force is necessary, and strongly admonished not to abuse that power.
So if I kill someone while on duty...
You have to supply compelling evidence for why it was necessary to use lethal force. In these cases, your partner is usually your witness. Not a good position to be in, by the way. Internal Affairs handles these cases thoroughly, by cross-examining you for inconsistencies. It is hard to cover for anyone, which is for the best.
What happens to the people we convict?
We don't convict. We arrest and send them to coalition government courts in Couron and La Delta. The prosecution works off our testimonies and records, which is why it's paramount to keep them.
Who makes all these rules?
Yes, the international community's mission in Revachol, and the moral intern more broadly. The RCM was formed by the coalition government to restore order in the international zone after the revolution. So we did. Now we attempt to maintain that order. No more, no less. Or perhaps it is better to say we were allowed to form. It's a point of contention whether the citizens of Revachol or the coalition government founded the RCM.
Let's say it was the citizens.
Be sentimental if you like. Either way, the moral intern leases us the right to keep the peace in this city, and they will take it away if we misuse it.
Or if they think you do.
Moral intern, what is that?
The Moralist International are the world's largest political organization. You know who they are. They have been running this place after the revolution failed.
If I didn't know, how would you describe them?
They're a union of center-left and center-right parties across the real belt. Our coalition government is just one of its many projects. They also run the ICP, EPIS, most intergovernmental organizations in the world.
What do they believe in?
What do they believe in? They are Dolorians. They believe they continue the humanist project set forth by Her Innocence Dolores Day 4 centuries ago. Others say they are just technocrats.
Those others say they continue the humanist project set forth by Dolores Day.
And the symbol?
Interesting question. It's a blue forget-me-not. Their motto is love, compassion, self-discipline. I think you can gauge what they want you to think of them from that.
Something kind and usual, something almost self-explanatory, something like the dark blue, serious color of the early night sky above.
Who was Dolores Day?
A historic figure? The author of the modern age? You will have to look elsewhere for opinions. The subject of humanism is too abstract for me.
What do you think of them?
The moral intern are a fact. I try not to have opinions on facts until they change. And it doesn't look like that's about to happen.
Conclude.
Do you?
We're stooges of the world's biggest bourgeois organizations, protecting bourgeois rights. That's the answer. And that's the truth.
No. We are stooges of the world's biggest bourgeois organization, protecting the people of Revachol.
Right.
That's the hand we were dealt. Without the MI, we would be common vigilantes.
Maybe we should make our own law.
Spoken like a revolutionary, not a cop. But hypothetical aside, in Martinez we already are vigilantes. At least the Union thinks so. I expect our job here to prove quite challenging.
How do you think today went?
We performed a thorough initial inspection of the victim's body, so that's good. One could say it's the main thing to do in a murder. Then you shot the body down, which was quite the shot.
I'm a sharpshooting cop. I just can't wait to shoot more shit. I think I was born with a gun in my hands.
Just don't get carried away. At any rate, your shot enabled us to perform a field autopsy on the victim. We found some things we can really work with.
If Kim is emphasizing something this much, it really must be important.
Above all, though, today was exhausting. What's with all the running? You run a lot. Is that a standard Precinct 41 practice?
Yeah, it's the part of a Gemrock shuffle. Yeah, it's part of the Gemrock shuffle.
It's impressive, especially for a man your age. And in those hills. Nice shoes, by the way. I like the green. Goes with the orange.
Say nothing, look